Hey everyone, welcome back. We are at week 1 of our countdown to Splash, which means we will be seeing you hopefully in Orlando next week. So in our last week here, we've got a really special guest joining us today, Werner Nindl. Welcome, Werner.
Welcome. Thank you very much for having me, Jason.
It's great to have you. So we are relatively new friends, so I don't know you as well as some others, but give us all a little bit of your background in terms of what you've done with your career, and let us get to know you a little better.
Very good. Thank you so much. So my background, I'm a software developer with an MBA. What that means is for my whole career, I've developed software for large companies, but I've also run companies. I was always focused on either business processes, managing business processes, or solving business processes with software. Spent most of my life of my career at Coca-Cola, 14 years around the world. Coca-Cola used to have their own ERP system. I'm one of the designers of that last generation of the ERP system, an old COBOL ERP system running on AS400. In 95, we replaced that ERP system, or we started replacing it with SAP.
Okay.
I started Coca-Cola's joint development center with SAP in Germany.
Wow.
That software eventually replaced our ERP system, our custom ERP system. After that, I prepared China for SAP for a software solution. That was the end of my Coca-Cola career. I then decided to jump on the .com bandwagon, moved to Silicon Valley, ran startup companies in Silicon Valley. Fortunately, not .coms, but suppliers to .com companies. Yeah. So we survived quite well. I managed a small benefits administration company, took that company digital, and especially our clients digital, before it was called going digital, converted all our services to web services, spun that off into a software company. Coincidentally, I benchmarked, AKA I reverse engineered a web function to submit resumes for our benefits administration website.
Okay.
I submitted my resume a few hundred times to a company called Hyperion, who contacted me and said, "We are really interested in your resume. Why don't you come talk with us?" Make a long story short, I was so excited by Hyperion and Hyperion software that I decided there is a company who has a software of a standard that my companies could never reach. And I should better work for a software company such as Hyperion.
So two things quickly. So first of all, I think there's an ongoing theme with kind of our archetype CPM consultants in that very few of them, if any, are really pure technologists, right? There's a great deal of interest and expertise in business process and in finance and accounting. I think you are probably in some ways even more interesting in terms of the depth and breadth at which you've worked on process, design software, but obviously implemented and executed as well.
You're absolutely right. If you look across the space, and these were also the people that I encountered when I started speaking with Hyperion. I used to speak with nothing but geeks, and then of course speak geekish, or you speak with business people. But the people that I met at Hyperion were people that were speaking both languages, that understood and had worked with business processes, but have also understood and worked with software that supported these business processes.
Right.
So all I needed to do was take one look at Hyperion, and I knew it was the right decision.
Yeah. And so that, to me, in some ways, if there was an arc to the story, we're foreshadowing probably a similar moment when you found OneStream, right? Can you compare the early days of Hyperion, which I remember, I was an Arbor 3.2 S-Base junkie back then, and back in 1994. Heard Jim Dorian talk about co-opetition, to us at the conference in Sunnyvale. So I knew that world a little bit, but I think it'd be nice to hear your perspective on kind of those days compared to these days around the growth and acceleration of OneStream.
Absolutely, Jason. So one thing that excited me about Hyperion was the extensibility. I extended FDM and HFM in Hyperion to the nth degree. Yeah. I wrote custom solutions on top of Hyperion. Basically, before it was called extensibility, we all extended Hyperion. We all know about the switch that Hyperion or Oracle made to the cloud solutions. I suddenly, overnight, lost all my capabilities of extending the solutions to my customers. From 2015 on, I started looking at OneStream. I was always an admirer of FDM, of the extensibility of FDM.
Yeah.
I started looking at OneStream, and all it took was one demo. I once had the opportunity to participate in a OneStream demo, and I knew that was it. I knew that all the extensibility that I always dreamt about, I had with OneStream and more. And on top of it, I had a whole toolkit that I first and foremost could configure before even thinking about extending, and then I could extend.
I mean, back in probably 97 or so, I led a project for Gillette, soon to be Procter & Gamble, and our goal was to build a demand planning application in back then, Hyperion Essbase. And the problem with that was demand planning has these thresholds that really force you into a function that's the kind of shape of a parabolic curve. And that didn't exist inside Essbase's finance library. So we actually had to write that function in Java and call on it from Essbase and bring back the results. So we were super jazzed that we could accomplish that, but we were certainly on the kind of the bleeding edge of what could happen in an Essbase cube. Fast forward 20 years now, and the way that OneStream has been built makes that so much easier, which means obviously it's so much more extensible and customizable than we had back in our Essbase days.
Absolutely agree. And the same is true for HFM, even though we didn't have the cool Essbase database, but we, of course, were the HFM rule acrobats, that extended FDM with Python and Jython and Java. But first and foremost, I seem to have lost, to a certain degree, I lost the capability of configuring and extending the solutions to my clients.
Yeah.
And I gained all of that back with OneStream and more.
Yeah.
And all it took was one demo, and I could not go back without turning red when I gave another presentation about FCCS and, of course, all its capabilities, knowing fully well that it was not even scratching on the capabilities of OneStream.
Yeah.
And the ease of integrations between consolidation and planning, that we always had, even in the Hyperion world, where we always had to think somewhat separated, and all these problems are now suddenly gone away,
Yeah.
So the extensibility of OneStream convinced me immediately. And every day I go to the marketplace solution, I find another solution that OneStream has added.
Yeah. It's been a great evolution in their product strategy. It's great to have Jason running that team now, and I think it's going to be a big area of growth over the next couple of years. So last question. We are, again, 1 week away. Are you packed? First half of the question. Second half of the question is...
I'm packed and ready.
And then what are you looking forward to?
So first and foremost, there's so much to learn in OneStream. When I started, a good friend told me, you need at least a year and a half until you know OneStream. It has now been a year and a half, and I know I need another year and a half. There's so much to learn. So first and foremost, I'm looking forward to the first day of learning at the OneStream learning sessions, especially the specialty planning learning sessions. I'm looking forward meeting all my old Hyperion friends who are now working at OneStream, such as Jason. When everyone goes back many, many years in the Hyperion and OneStream world. And then, of course, learning about the roadmap, where OneStream is going, where it's taking its BI blend functions, where it's taking their functions at all.
Yeah. Likewise, looking forward to meeting you in person for the first time and see old friends and hopefully meet some new customers. It's going to be, I think, a great time together. It's a great conference, a lot of information, but super excited to be down there with a great team of folks, including yourself. Great to have you. Thanks for joining tonight and talking this through. See you in a week.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Werner. To our audience, thanks for hanging there. It's been 10 weeks. We are excited. We're all packing up and getting ready to go. We will have a booth down in Orlando. Look for us. Look for Archetype's booth. We'll promise not to disappoint. And look around. We've got a bunch of people going from a sales perspective. I'll be there. A bunch of consultants will be there. We've got 3 different presentations. So please look for us. And if you see me, grab me and say hi. Can't wait to see you. Take care.